Welcome back to Birds of a Feather Co-ed edition here. Me and AJ. Start over. Me, AJ, that'd be me. And then that in the other
Is
square is Eddie B. What's up, Eddie?
what's up, AJ? I'm here and here chilling at Sutton's again. Once again, they see from my backdrop. Kind of like this
Yes.
backdrop, so I think I'm gonna do this more often here.
This is where Eddie works. Tell him what nights you work as a bartender at Sutton's.
Bartend on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and sometimes I pick up a day here and there too.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
do they have an IG page? Do they have Instagram?
Oh yeah, it's Sutton's Philly is the Instagram page.
S
Go
U
check
T
go
T
check it out. SUTTE
O
O
N S.
N S Philly,
Okay.
and
So
it's a
Sutton.
great spot. So
Yes, and
been trying to get
eventually
you to come here for a while. So
he knows I'm gonna get there. I've been very antisocial on purpose. He knows why.
yeah,
And
I know.
well, I'm at this point where eventually these cold days are gonna have to minimize because it's
Yeah,
spring. I have not really enjoyed the spring other than just walking around my neighborhood or seeing my sister. So at this point, welcome again. We'll start this over again. Welcome to the co-ed edition of Birds of a Feather. I'm your girl, Aged Suburban Princess, SADB, as we spoke before. We're going to do a local shout outs just like Eddie just did, where he's at his Sutton's. And I'm going to do a local shout out. These earrings I just bought from the Sable Collective. Shout out to Shanti and Around the Way Curls podcast. And my favorite face and voice, Antoinette. I splurged because I felt like supporting the Philly community and getting these beautiful hoops. They have tons of hoops. There were some that I liked that weren't available because they're running out. So make sure you check the Sable Collective, SABLE Collective on Instagram. Shout out Shanti. And yeah, so tons of jewelry, tons of things. They got gift cards. So think about it for Mother's Day. You never know. May want some jewelry for your mommy. All right. So enough plug. Welcome, welcome. We are now going to chat about what you may have missed or what maybe I even have missed. Although I didn't really miss a lot of the draft because I had the pleasure of jumping on the live stream of shout out to the Fourth and John guys, shout out to Gail and his delirious state for 3 days of funny. Shout out to Chris Malley, shout out to Mal, by the way. Follow him at a Third Lap podcast and Mind Your Mentals podcast. It was very fun. It was very one day Eddie's gonna have to experience this because draft with the guys who really, really love this draft process that I could care less about. But these boys make
oh,
it
stop
fun.
it.
The boys make it fun. I mean, it's a long day. I mean, I wasn't,
Yeah.
I told you
Oh
it was
yeah.
3 days. It used to be longer. They're now starting to kind of edit it down so it's not as long because it used to be forever, these types of things. But
Yeah.
for some reason, if you watch the playback, if you're on YouTube, check out the Fourth and John's live stream day 3 because that's where stuff went off the rails. So the Eagles' progress obviously is getting a lot of raven reviews, mixed reviews, obviously from us fans, because depending on how much you care about this stuff, the Eagles did a bang up job or the Eagles missed a lot of names. But they seem to strike hot this year when it comes to UFDAs. So look, Corey Clement was a UFDA, so we can't always act like half the guys
All
they
right.
got this
Don't forget our boy Brian Westbrook. You
Brian West,
know,
duh, yes, Brian
sound
Westbrook.
out of Vill- Yep.
Yes.
Out of Villanova. You know,
Out of
just
Villanova. Shout out Nova. Oh, and celebrate the retirement of
Jay
our Jay
Wright.
Wright. He's moved
Yeah.
on. We don't know if he's moving on to something else or he's really just done and tired. Shout out to also last night I just saw that C. Vivian Bell or Stringer. No,
Yeah.
C. Vivian Stringer,
Stringer. Yeah.
women's coach. What
50
school?
years in that program.
Yes,
50
she's been in
years.
there a long time in this program, and I'm blanking on the school because I should know better. But
Yeah, it's escaping me right now, but
it'll
it's
come.
amazing that she did 50
It's
years there.
amazing. She's a female coach and she just now retired. So a lot of people are saying goodbye to a profession that they've loved for years. But there's a point where, Eddie B, as you know, why
It's
stay
time to move
somewhere when
on.
you're
Yeah,
ready to move on, when you're
yeah.
not as passionate, it's time to move on. So
Mhm.
so enough of me blabbering. This draft was pretty much successful for the most part. But what do you view as draft, good or bad? Like what is considered a good draft to you?
I mean, you address your needs. You improve your overall team. That is what you want to go for. I mean, that's that is the goal of the draft, to improve your team. And I think, even though even though people were complaining they didn't draft a D back, but you know what? They improved their team in some areas that will help the D back position. That line is solidified. The D-backs have more time. So I mean that's good.
Rutgers.
So I mean, I'm happy. Oh, he's Rutgers. That's right. It was Rutgers. Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Forgive me if you're watching this. C. Vivian Stringer, just wanted to go back to that. Rutgers University is where she's retiring from. She's a legendary women's basketball coach. So,
hey, you know who's going to be next on that list is our girl, our local girl, Dawn Staley.
Oh, Dawn Staley.
She's gonna be next in that line of like successful coaches that
legendary women coaches. She's just rocking down there in South Carolina.
I was so happy for her when they won.
I was very happy for her. She's undefeated. She knows pretty much what she was looking for. Once obviously a Temple alum. And we got some people actually that are going to be probably turning out in Temple's basketball programs. You never know. I mean, these days the one thing I learned about the NFL draft is sometimes you just can't sleep on the local people. A lot of the local people also got on other teams that I was kind of hoping they would come here. Who was it? The Jets that drafted Jahad Dotson? Was it the Jets? I think that.
It's on the wide receiver, John Dotson.
Yeah, the wide receiver. He was the fast one. He was really small.
Yeah, he's small. Yeah,
he was small. He was Penn Stater. He's small. And speaking of which, obviously Nakobe Dean was the biggest smash hit of the whole draft, besides the obvious big boy, baby. You watched our live stream on Thursday night. We rejoiced in Jordan Davis. So welcome, big baby boy. And DT, what, D-end or DT? What is he? Center?
Defensive tackle.
Tackle, I'm sorry. He could probably, who knows? At this point, they got a center that's supposed to be replacing Jason Kelce, and Jason Kelce apparently had a hand in getting Jurgensen, who that was another thing you have to watch the live stream for, because that became the joke, calling him lotion for most of shout out to him, but he was kind of like the quote unquote myth of the draft, even though Kelce obviously had his blessing on that. What were your thoughts when you found out?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the draft center, I was like, I gotta say, okay, I know why they're doing it, because they got to get a replacement,
right?
At some point, Kelce is not going to be here forever.
No,
I mean, the fact that he's been holding on for this many years. I mean, the guy's he's a warrior, but
he's a mainstay.
It's not going to last forever. Yeah.
No, he's a mainstay, and I told you I was shocked he even came back last year, because I didn't think he needed to press his body any further. But apparently he was like, nope, I can't leave it the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll have his arm dragging in the middle of a game and still try to compete. But and on the subject of, well, not retired officially, but who I think should retire, speaking of the Eagles, is our old Nick Foles has been released from Chicago Bears. I'm hoping that means he can come to the Eagles and retire on a one-day thing like Shady did last season. Maybe he can retire next year when it's officially Kelly Green season official. Maybe it'll, be a nice one of those random games, maybe a Cowboys game or something. They'll decide to retire Nick's number. What are your thoughts when you heard Nick was released?
Well, I was just hoping that I don't want to hear all the stupid fans saying, "Oh, bring him back." No. Please, just stop it. Can we please end the Nick Foles experiment? It is over. He got a Super Bowl. He helped us with a Super Bowl. He's good. You don't need him for anything else.
He's good. I mean,
I love you, Nick, but stay the fuck out.
Well, I would just save your body. He just had another baby, his little baby boy Duke. He's got a boy and girl.
He's been getting hurt every year now. Every time you turn around, he's getting hurt. I'm like, yo, just walk away, man.
Yeah, and he's a big, tall guy. He's not a small cookie, and he hurt his hip. So who knows how long? I would know when you have got any kind of joint infraction of any kind. That stuff lingers with you, and so he could have like a cold day and just regret he even stayed on that field. I want
to be able to play with his. I want to be able to play with his kids, like
right. And he's already broken his clavicle on both sides, so it's like he has.
Oh my God! Just call it a day.
I would hope he would call it a day and do a one-day retirement here as a filler.
I mean, I would love to see him retire as an Eagle. That'd be great.
That'd be the best. It would be the best day. It'll probably be the most sold-out game, no matter who we're playing. I don't know if when they decide that stuff, if they have to wait, like they usually announce it this year and then they officially do it the following season. So that would be up to Nick. I'm sure he's praying on it, knowing he's a very religious man. But going back to the draft, What were the names that you saw that they didn't select? Because the one thing I learned from the live stream was that they were clearly not getting anybody ready for right now. They were clearly just getting picks for the future.
Oh, this is I mean, the future looks bright. The future looks bright for them right now with what they picked. I mean, they got some guys who can develop. I mean, they even on the back end when they the two cornerbacks they picked up.
Yeah, in the UFD. Yeah, the one guy. Yeah, the one
Josh Joby was supposed to go in the 4th round.
Josh Joby was in the guys were talking
about. 3rd or 4th round. And Gibson is it Gibson? Gibson was supposed to go maybe 4th or 5th, and they got them undrafted. So
they ended up getting them. There were some guys that ended up falling further. That was the big talk. That how many guys fell further than they thought, especially the quarterbacks.
And that one QB, Carlton Strong, they picked up.
Carson Strong.
Yeah, Carson Strong. Yeah, he'll be a good 3rd stringer. Hey, there you go. Now you got some. There's 2 actually. I think there was another one they signed, but I can't remember the kid's name.
I don't know either, but I know that the athletic.
Those are just the names that stood out to me. That's all.
Yeah, because Carson, it was another Carson. That's why I said as soon as you said Strong, I knew it was Carson because I said we don't need another Carson that's had a bad knee issue. So apparently,
yeah. Well, who knows? These guys are just fillers, see if they can make the team or not.
Well, and the tight end that they got, the Calcutta or Cal something. Not Calcutta. That's what Mal said. Shout out to Mal.
Calcaterra.
Yes.
Calcaterra.
Yes.
Yeah, Calcaterra. Apparently, he has good hands. I was looking at his films and stuff. He has good hands. He's a good route runner. But I mean, hey, look, we're gonna need. Who knows if this tight end experiment is going to work out that we're doing?
He might be another special teamer because apparently the knock on him was that he'd already had like 2 or 3 concussions. At one point, he stopped playing.
So he just running around hitting people, huh?
This was the joke of the whole live stream. Like they were saying, like you're going to pick a guy who already had concussions and then wanted to be a firefighter at one point. Have we not had the Jimmy Watkins experiment already?
Yeah. Well, at least this guy played more football than Jimmy Watkins.
I hear you, and that's the thing.
Yeah, because
a new concept, but it was just within the last like 2 years, like that was discovered. So it's like, how hungry is this guy? Well, all he have to do is just block. They're supposedly making JJ a tight end now this year as opposed to a wide receiver. So he may just end up being that block guy if someone gets hurt on the tight end front. Who knows? He may not even play a lot.
He may end up on the practice squad just for that because we saw Tyree Johnson, who he's got to show something, or they got to end that experiment too with him.
I agree. He has the height, so I
wish he would put on a little weight though.
With him having a rehab, he probably will because you're not moving as much when you're rehabbing. Because what did he have? Did he have ACL too? Is that what happened?
Yeah, remember that happened in the preseason game.
It was preseason because everybody was really bummed.
Last preseason game, he got hurt. Yeah, so then he came back for a little bit.
Right. So and so a lot of the things that happened mostly seemed like they were happening around the league. I know for sure that the New York teams did a lot of work because they had to. I mean, supposedly the rumor is they didn't. The Giants didn't take the fifth year option for Daniel Jones, so it's looking like they are probably going to either be looking around to get another quarterback if they didn't grab one already. I don't know what the formality was with that. But there were a lot of New York, like the Jets definitely loaded up on people. Obviously, our 3rd round pick, Nakobe Dean, was the biggest talk because nobody thought he was going to fall to the third round.
Who thought we would draft a linebacker in the 3rd round? So,
nobody thought we were going to get a linebacker at all. At that point, I didn't think they were getting anybody like that.
And then if he once he clears his medical hurdles, he's good.
He is good.
I mean.
Yeah, you're right.
He's coming from a pro-style defense in Georgia. I mean,
and I forgot he was part of the Georgia crew that just won. So that made sense because when I saw his picture, and I didn't realize when Jordan got up. I told you, I said I didn't know that was him and the pimp.
It was standing next to him.
The pimp blush look and the hat and everything and the ring. So I didn't even realize that was him. So, but the biggest talk too with him was that a lot of stuff that was falsely reported about how injured he really was. Like apparently the pectoral issue may or may not have been as severe as they said, but they said that he's not going to be redshirted. Howie said he will be at training camp or maybe OTAs. I don't know. But the point is, they said that a lot of the factor of some of these guys drop because of how these scouts report on them around the time of the combine. And sometimes it's not apparently accurate, or maybe at the time of that combine was different from the time of the actual draft. So do you think that that's a sad part to me of the draft when guys get their positions and lose money.
Well, yeah, you know how the media can skew all this stuff up, and then
yeah. So it's sad. It's sad to hear that because he said in his quote in his brief interview I saw with N'Kobe Dean was that his mother was really upset because he was dropping so low, and so people were saying that they were putting so much crap on his name and stuff, and
yeah, well,
frustrating.
Well, he sounded happy when he was like, yeah, he was believed in him. He was like,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
he's I'm coming to play. I'm coming to play.
At the end of the
I
day,
love it. Hey, I love it. If he comes here playing with a chip on his shoulder, go
as
for
it. As he should, because of all the people who could tell him about that is Brandon Graham.
we need him in a linebacker with some fire in him.
Yeah.
Some heart.
And he could probably get along with Brandon because Brandon can, I'm sure, tell him stories about how, it was hard for him to start because a lot of people had high expectations on him. Mm-hmm. And, whether or not you wanted him, like, obviously before the pick, before Jordan was the rumored Kyle Hamilton guy that everybody wanted that went to the Vikings? Did he go to the Vikings? I think he went to the Vikings.
No, the Ravens.
The Ravens. That's why I knew it was somebody purple. Yeah, it was the Ravens. But I remember that big talk too was Kyle.
There was a knock on him apparently about his drive and his how he plays. Like the same thing about Jordan Davis has some stuff about him too.
Yeah, they think that he's never going to lose any more weight, and I'm like,
they say somebody takes plays off.
Where I'm thinking, isn't that every pro player? I feel like every pro player is guilty of that. I mean, even if they don't admit it, we all know who takes plays off. Like, it's obvious in the NFL right now. And honestly, this is the thing with college students. Like, this was probably the whole battle with the whole, paying the players in college, because will they get lazy? Will they not, just be thinking about how much they make? And that's why. Mm-hmm. I just wonder if they realize, like, that is a lot on someone's body, no matter how big or small a player is. They're constant training. So, there are some players who mentally probably check out, I'm sure. But you have to understand, when these kids know they're pro and then they can get even more money, I would think that their drive would kind of change, once they become pro. Because that fear of dropping so far in the draft has to do something to your mental. I mean, look at what happened with Malik Willis. You saw how he was crying because he didn't realize he was going to fall that far, I
am surprised he fell to the third.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I
really thought somebody was going to grab him in a second.
I thought for sure he would go to Atlanta. I don't know why I thought Atlanta would take him, to back up Mariota. I was hoping, because I just thought that made sense. Or even Buccaneers, because Brady obviously is,
or the Colts.
Colts too. Yeah. But I just felt like he made more sense for Atlanta, because I felt like that was the kind of fast enough offense that he could, since they kept saying he throws so deep and it's a dome team. So I thought maybe it would work out for him. But I mean, I'm glad. I mean, he's going to the Titans. I mean, it's still obviously a powerhouse organization. We all know Ryan, what's his name, is on thin ice at this point, and he's got plenty of money at this point he's made. I don't know if he's going to be as strong, because obviously in the playoffs he struggles. So maybe this will be Malik's time to shine at the right time. I mean, maybe he'll be like Lamar,
Yeah.
Like Lamar, kind of, that's where his shine started, was taking over for Joe Flacco when he went down. And then from then on, it was like lights out. So
and Kenny Pickett was a no-brainer going to Pittsburgh. I knew that was going to happen.
I thought that was kind of obvious, but people were trying to knock it because I guess it became too obvious that the Steelers would pick somebody who went to Pitt. But I'm like, well, if it fits, it fits. I mean, who else do you want?
Well, I mean, how often that they play in the same stadium? They see this kid all the time, so they didn't need a lot of convincing on how good this kid is.
And you don't need to move, like, you're still in the same state. Like, that's the blessing.
I mean, he was in tears. Like, he got to stay near his family. He was happy. Yeah.
It's happy, and then I think it's also still that fear. I think what I noticed in a lot of these videos was that guys were just like scared, like they weren't ever going to hear their name, and so when it did happen, it was like, oh, thank God, you know what I mean? So, and then even the who was the other guy? Ritter, quarterback Ritter. He was excited because he went to and of course I'm blanking now again. But he's saying he's already promising a Super Bowl, and I'm like, kid, you're not probably even starting, baby. Like, he's already promising a Super Bowl.
I don't even think the kid from North Carolina got drafted. Did he get drafted?
Which one?
Coral.
Corral
Corral?
went to the Panthers.
So he went late then because I was
he went
looking.
late too. Everybody went late.
Yeah, he went really late.
He went late.
He had a decent arm. I was watching him at the when he had the combine. He has a real good arm.
Too. I thought he was pretty solid. I think
some great passes, like really good passes. I was watching like, wow.
He's sturdy. He's a sturdy quarterback, and I think every interview I've seen with him, I said he seems like he's pretty level-headed. Like I don't think he's tripping on all these like quarterbacks are so bad. I think he's more just like, I'll prove it. Just give me a shot, And I think some guys are more emotional than others. I think that I'm looking at rounds 65 through 105. Matt Corral went 3rd round, 94th pick. And then let me see where the Steelers guy went. It was DeMarvin Leal right after Nakobe Dean. I don't see. Maybe he went in the 4th round. Because Malik went 86 in the 3rd round. So Malik was after. Yeah. So I don't even think Pitt even went in this round. Yeah. I'm not seeing it. Although I didn't get the rest of the repost from the other picks, but they gave the Steelers in general, they gave them an A-. Like most of the teams got A's or B's supposedly from all over the NFL league. The only teams that they weren't impressed with were the Saints picks, the Seahawks, and the Patriots. Now I thought the Seahawks got some pretty good picks too. Patriots never really know how to draft, and I don't think Bill Belichick cares.
Right.
He turns every type batting into a bot, so it really doesn't matter.
He's like, I'm just gonna go down to the local store and see who's bagging groceries. Let me see if he wants to come play football.
Basically, yeah. I mean, and the Lions did pretty good because the Lions obviously need a lot of stuff, but they got to be plus.
Oh, they had so many damn picks in the first 2 rounds. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like it got to the point where you could tell after round 4, like a lot of guys were just like, all right, we're good. They're just traded all over the place. But honestly, like I honestly wouldn't know what to say. The Commanders, they got their quarterback behind Carson. So that was the whole thing, was that, is Carson going to be tripping or pressed again? Because there's another quarterback behind him. He didn't even start. I'm like, at this point, Carson should be totally not worried about anything at this point. This is his 3rd team. He's going on his 6th, 7th season. So it's like his 7th season, I think, at this point. He should make year number 7, his most laid back, not press season, because there's nobody to improve. The only pressure he's putting is on himself. And I don't think he has, bless you, I don't think anybody has.
Somebody's here.
I know, I heard that, yeah. But I don't think he should be as stressed. I mean, the jokes were flying, he's going to get them zits on his neck because, here comes Sam Howell. Someone said the turf is so bad that he won't last past the first part of the season. My sister's like, oh, shut up. And I'm like, I know. I don't want to joke either. Trust me. You know me. I'm all about trying to be on Wentz. But at this point, knowing that he's in our division, I'm like, no.
That's okay. You just beat up on him now. It's fine.
Right. It's very easy to go and assume that he's going to do exactly what happened in the Colts season. But I just couldn't believe how quickly that whole thing, fizzled out. I really thought that Frank Reich would give him another year or something like that. But then I'm like, you have to consider how much money he's basically held on to since the Eagles let him go, or he left the Eagles. So but
I mean,
overall, what do you think though?
About him or about like
him and the whole circumstance about being on the Commanders? Like, I don't really think it's going to be promising year for him, but we'll see.
Who knows? I mean, he just seems like he doesn't want to be anywhere. So I don't know. To be honest with you, like he's just trying to make money. He's just like, all right, well,
whatever.
I gotta play here. I guess I got to play here now.
But what do you think about the? Because we didn't get to talk since night 1. So what do you overall your impressions from the draft?
I was happy. This is probably one of the best drafts I've seen out of them in a long, long time.
Okay.
As far as like addressing some spots and also being aggressive too when it came to like you going out and getting AJ Brown during the draft was great. God.
How did I miss that? Sorry.
I mean that thing, yeah.
Missed that.
How he did his job, and I think I was happy to see. You know what we didn't see at all? Jeffrey Lurie, which was great.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so glad we didn't see him during this process.
yeah,
Hopefully, he
yeah.
was somewhere swimming in his money or something. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but
Just watching. Probably have no
yeah, just
camera on him.
watch. Yeah,
Being
just
on the
watch.
low.
Just go somewhere and try to influence the room.
Right.
Try to
Not trying
pick
to
out.
be.
Oh, let's get this. No, just be quiet.
Yeah, just
You know,
stay in the back because you have no say. I think he felt. I think he felt that because, and I think also fans at the time too, a couple years ago were saying like, you got Jerry Jones out there all the time. How come Jeffrey Lurie's not out there? So since like the Super Bowl
they
year,
don't
I think
need.
they were trying to put a presence. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he stepped back from that then, because
Yeah, you're right. Well, we know the game is about to happen, so let's just switch it over real quick to the Sixers. At this point, we all know about the news about Embiid getting smacked in the eye. This is the other eye now that the orbital bone has been fractured, and he has a concussion. So now he's most likely waiting through the whole 5 days,
hopefully we hope he can play for game 3.
3 or 4,
Hopefully,
yeah, at home.
yeah.
Because at this point, we don't want to see a total washout. I'm not gonna lie to you. I say Heat in 5. I'm not even gonna front. Like I'm not even gonna try to be a homer. I hope that
I don't know.
put it down.
Honestly, I want to see better, but I don't know who knows what kind of team's going to come out. Yeah, they've beaten the Heat before without a beat.
True.
Even
Yeah.
without Harden, even without Harden.
True.
So,
Yeah.
but it all depends on how they're going to show up, what's going to happen.
How they
The playoffs, the playoffs are different, and I'm just like, I want them to do better, but I mean, I thought this was going to be a straight out dogfight, but then Embiid was out. I'm like, oh no, we got biggest dog is out of the fight right now.
I mean,
Yeah,
and especially because that injury with shouldn't have happened technically because I didn't watch. I was on live stream, so I missed the whole game. But I saw enough to be like, why was he still in the game at that point anyway? They were already ahead 30 points.
but our bench is notorious for blowing leads.
This is true. I agree.
With 4 minutes left, I would still have I would still been puckering up a little bit.
I think it would made sense though to me if they were like already only ahead like 5 points or something. That would make sense. But 30, I kind of have to admit, I agree that Doc should have been like, all right, chill. The most they could do was cut the lead down to like 10, before the end of the game. So I think that was poor management too there. But I also do think Doc is the type of guy that's more like he's a grown man. He can if he doesn't want to play anymore, he'll tell me. I think that's how Doc is. I think he treats them like men and lets them decide instead of being like forceful.
And you don't want to get lazy on you. You want to keep them going.
Yeah. Well, because I forget what game it was. I don't know if it was probably the Toronto Raptor, obviously, because this is only round 2. But I know he said one of the games that Embiid said he was tired and he took him. He said he wanted to get out. So that was probably the one game when that was said in the press conference. I was like, oh, he actually talks to him and tells him he's tired. Okay. Because I was thinking he would just be like, Doc assumed he was tired and said, sit your ass down. But he told him.
Embiid's a competitor. He probably didn't want to come out yet. Yeah.
No, I agree. And that's why I say I'm not one of these people who thinks he's not going to come back at all in the series. I do think he's still play. I just don't think it's going to be more than probably one game if they're smart.
Excuse me. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Because, you have to realize continuity's sake, too. We know what happens when this team shuffles up the roster all of a sudden, and then they can't recover.
So it just sucks that sometimes we can't depend on the bench to do their job either, which is sad.
Yeah, and I think it's also just a mental thing where they just can't adapt to having Embiid in and out in the same game. Like they have to either have him out the whole game or just work with him when he's in the game. It seems like they can't adapt on the fly, and that gets on my nerves still. That they had that problem even before Doc got here, and I'm like, that has to be a mentality.
Yeah. It's always been a lingering issue. Yeah.
Yeah, like not being able to close or not being able to last without him sitting on the bench. Although they did prove it in regular season toward the end. Remember, we were both saying, they have held the lead, but maybe it was because the team was bad. I don't know.
Yeah, but then they had those games when they put up 5 or 6 points, just the bench does, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening here?
Exactly. And then they take over, and then Shake will have a day, or Korkmaz will probably come in there and have a day at the last 5 minutes. And you'd be like, where the hell was this all season, Corky? Like, what's going on?
I will die laughing if they still won from them. If they still game 1 from them, I'm gonna crack up. Yeah.
If any game they win thus far with everybody on the Heat being, especially Jimmy being on fire, I will be shocked if they steal at least one game without Embiid.
Because they got a chance if we get the same Martin from the other night, and if Maxey comes out firing, oh man, they got a chance to win.
They have a way.
They still have a chance to win.
They
And
can.
if Tobias keeps playing the same game he's been playing,
Yeah,
they definitely got a chance to win.
It's important to pay attention to the pace once the second half comes, because if they understand by third quarter how they're playing them, then maybe they can actually close out a game decently without Embiid and not think. I think the key is, like I always say, just don't think, just do.
Just do,
because,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, and that's no different for football, right? I mean, they always say it depends on what the defense gives you, right?
Yeah, so, just don't get caught up in your own head and just keep playing, yeah.
And keep thinking. And, there's one thing about Maxey that has said ever since his rookie year was that he said, you got 20,000 people telling me directions before I even get on the field. I go through Doc, I go through this, then I hear the guys on the bench, and I have to go out there and decide what I'm going to do. And I'm like, you have too many voices in your head. You do start thinking too hard when they adjust to you. But overall, I do think that the draft was, for me, it's more like hit or miss. I'm still kind of like, it is great, but we also don't know who's going to actually play this year. If Nakobe Dean does,
it's like for every team, every pick is a gamble,
right?
You don't know what's going to happen. This guy who's projected to be number one, he could be a bust. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know if the fat boy is going to really be actually a worker when he comes here, or is he going to just what's the guy that we had, Andre Drummond? Was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that never played. Was that his name that we were all getting all hyped for, and then he never actually played, but he only just.
Oh, you're talking about
Andre. I thought it was Andre Drummond.
No, you're talking about Malik. No, not Malik. You're talking about the one. You're talking about the one defensive end. You're talking about.
No. I was talking about Sixers. It was the same thing when what's his name never played.
You mean when we had a dude from the Lakers?
Yes. I thought
he had to play one fucking game for us.
Yeah, one game. We got so hyped.
He didn't play one game for us. He didn't step out at all on that court. Like,
he had no problem going bowling.
He still got ADB out for his arrest right now. He's stealing money from Philadelphia. Like,
come on, that could be a whole nother pod where we talk about people who just basically got the bag without doing shit. I mean, Sam. Sam Woods could show everybody how he did it in the NFL. Because look at Chase Daniel still making money. Blake Gabbert, what I mean? But
can't knock the hustle, right?
We can't knock it. But I swear, there's got to be a way that you have to learn how to do it. It's a skill. It's a skill to be a freak. But before we close, too, Ed, when I did my podcast with Nick from a country station 925 WXTU, she was talking about how the Philly Unite logo needs to be changed because she said the snake she thinks is a bad omen. Now, with them almost making it around for 3-4 seasons straight, what do you think? Do you think it's time to switch up the logo?
I don't read into that too much. I don't think it's a bad omen. It needs to be changed. I mean, the thing is, what do we change it to? I mean, we got away from the whole Bulldogs Road thing after Ben left. So,
well, I kind of thought they should just embrace the whole city edition thing.
Oh yeah, I would actually like that too.
Do you know what I mean? Like just have the old logo back, kind of somewhere immersed in like the.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. I actually like the navy and the red.
Yeah, because I mean, if we still play the anthem all the time, why don't we just fully embrace the whole '70s campaign?
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so I think that I told her it's part of the history because apparently the whole Philly Unite. The snake is part of the whole Benjamin. There's a whole story with it.
It is. It's a long,
It's a long ass story with having to do with Benjamin Franklin. So if you don't know, kids, read up on the history. But I agree with her that for me, out of being bored, I just want them to change the logo just for content.
Every now and then, they should switch it up.
Yeah, but I won't talk my head off anymore. We're gonna just say go Sixers, go Maxey, go DeAndre, go Harden, go crazy. If you got to shock the world and win in Miami, just win at least one time.
At least one time, yeah.
One time in South Beach and try not to party too much because they're there for the week.
God, I would lock Harden right in his damn I would lock him right in his hotel room. I'm like, yo, come here.
That's gonna be somebody I would have a guard outside his room.
I'll post security right outside his door, like you can't leave.
Can't leave at 10 o'clock. You keep your ass inside. If you got a party, have people in your room. That's it. But all right, go Sixers. Eddie B, you'll be watching from Sutton's. I'll be watching from my couch as I make my chicken fajita taco thingy and enjoy the game. So go Sixers.
All right, go Sixers.
Go Birds, and we'll talk more as the details come out. Who knows? The Eagles probably ain't done. There's more.
I mean, there's more things that happen, so
More things gonna happen. So until then, fly Eagles fly. See you. Bye, Eddie.
Bye.
All right, and of course, here goes her trying to find the button again.
Well, at least you didn't do what you did last time.